Thank you everybody for joining us. Buenas tardes. Gracias por estar aquí. This is our second session of our year-long Hispanic Serving Institution webinar series known as Centering Servingness. I'm Carla Silva, and I serve as the Director for Hispanic Serving Institution Initiatives at the University of Arizona. I'm excited that our community today includes one of our colleagues from the University of Arizona, and of course, all of you who are joining us from across the state or even the country. So on behalf of HSI Initiatives at the U of A, we welcome you. So I just want to begin by recognizing and paying honor to the original inhabitants of the land on which the University of Arizona resides. This region includes the ancestral homelands of the Tohono O'odham Nation and the Pasquayaqui tribe. We offer our gratitude in being able to share knowledge on these indigenous lands. So a little bit more about our series for those who are maybe new. Our work is informed by Dr. Gina Garcia's extensive body of work on the concept of servingness. This webinar series features faculty and staff who engage in scholarship and servingness efforts that honor the cultures and lived experiences of our Latine, Black, Indigenous, and other underrepresented students and their communities. So the goals of our series are threefold. One, by spotlighting current scholarship, we offer examples of the rich ways in which servingness is enacted by faculty and staff across our institution. Two, we invite others, both on campus and nationally, to learn about and engage in these efforts. And lastly, we build knowledge together. So each month we address the question, what next steps are needed to build institutional capacity around HSI servingness? A little bit about the University of Arizona. We received our HSI designation in April of 2018, and we were the first four-year public university in the state of Arizona to be recognized as an HSI. In 2019, the U of A was among 9 higher ed institutions to receive the inaugural Seal of Excellencia awarded by Excellencia in Education, and we were then again recertified in 2022. So really our recertification is aimed at recognizing the institution and how we demonstrate intentional impact and success in 3 core areas, specifically data, practice, and leadership. So folks, the person you will hear from today is a part of our webinar series and one of the many across our institution who has intentional and servingness efforts every single day. So again, HSI Initiatives touches every facet of the U of A, from outreach to our K-20 partners, to our faculty and staff hiring, to retention and promotion practices, all the way to how we teach and engage our students or engage with our alumni. So again, it is work that has to happen from students, staff, and faculty, but also for all of our community partners. So today, it is my honor to introduce a faculty member here on our campus that embodies servingness at the U of A. So today, we're also excited because each year we do host a bilingual webinar series. And so that is what we're doing today. So again, super excited because today you'll be hearing from Jonathan, who serves as an assistant professor of practice in the W.A. Franke Honors College and UNIV core faculty in the Office of General Education. He will be sharing about la iniciativa bilingüe en el curso UNIV 101, busca desarrollar el sentido de pertenecer en los estudiantes bilingües o multiculturales, as well as fostering a more intentional and supportive learning environment through linguistic servingness. En este webinario compartiremos perspectivas, retos y éxitos de esta iniciativa como semilla de HSI Project, advocating for a bilingual and culturally responsive higher education. So our presenter will be going back and forth between English and Spanish. There are also subtitles that are available for folks while using Zoom. We have enabled those. Once our presenter finishes, we will open it up for questions. So please, if you need or have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A section as Jonathan is presenting, and we'll come back to them. And so please help me in welcoming today's guest. I'll pass it over to you, Jonathan.
Muchísimas gracias. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here, for inviting me, and sobre todo para hablar de esta iniciativa bilingüe. Entonces, vamos a mostrar una presentación que tengo preparada para esta. ¿Esa pull out? Ok. Perfecto. Entonces, tenemos creando Comunidad a través de UNIV 101, Introducción a la Experiencia de Educación General. Esa es una de las clases que enseño en el programa de de la oficina de General Education, que se basa en eh, la exploración de cómo funciona el programa de GENET para los estudiantes de primer año, y muchos de esos estudiantes de primer año son estudiantes de primera generación. Entonces, vamos a ver cómo funciona esto. Antes de empezar, vamos a hablar un poquito del concepto de servingess, que está definido como engaging Latinx students through cultural enhancing equitable approaches that offer transformative experiences leading to both academic and non-academic outcomes, según García and Core en 2020. El concepto de servingess llegó a mi mesa cuando empecé mi posición como assistant professor of practice y tuve la pregunta desde mi primer año de trabajo: ¿por qué no tenemos clases bilingües si tenemos 25% de los estudiantes latinos, hispanos y de alguna otra manera son bilingües, son multiculturales, biculturales? Entonces, esta pregunta surge y recibe el apoyo, que es curioso. Es una pregunta que nadie se había hecho y es una pregunta que fue apoyada. It was supported from the very, very beginning from my supervisors, the leadership team that we have in UNIV 101 and 301, and also in the Office of General Education, as well as the Honors College. So the support was there from the very beginning. So inquiring, wondering, and having the curiosity to know why we don't have this and why we don't have it and why we don't propose it. So that was the seed of this UNIV class in the bilingual mode. Entonces, un poquito de contexto. En la oficina de General Education también tenemos faculty members que son UNIV Core Faculty, mi persona y 14, 15 otros profesores, y enseñamos dos clases específicas: UNIV 101, Introduction to the General Education Experience, y UNIV 301, de Genet y Portfolio. Básicamente, estos son dos cursos que empiezan el programa de educación general y terminan el programa de educación general. So they are bookend courses, and basically the students, they have a path to follow within the program. So in general terms, all students at the University of Arizona, all undergraduate students, they have major, some of them have minor and electives. But everybody has general education classes that are 32 credits more or less. Within those, the students are introduced to the university experience through the general education courses from different perspectives. That is the main idea. So we are welcoming all the students and we are helping them understand what is going to happen within the program. So the idea here is we're going to walk the students during 101 in order to develop agency whenever they're making decisions according to their general program. Lo que pasaba aquí en mi primer año fue que encontré estudiantes que de alguna u otra manera conectaban conmigo. No solamente la parte étnica, la parte identitaria, sino también la parte lingüística. Curiosamente me decían, ¿y esta clase no está en español? Y es una pregunta que me hice. Yo, oh, es una muy buena pregunta. A pesar de lo de los estudiantes que no hablaban español, que sí hablaban español, por cierto, ellos tenían la duda de si yo ya sé español, ¿por qué no puedo entregar las tareas en español? Y yo, eso es una muy buena pregunta porque al final del día tenemos el curso en español. Entonces, el curso, perdón, los assignments, independientemente de la lengua que uses, van a estar completos si la completas. Entonces, esa fue una de las propuestas que pensamos dentro del programa de UNIV y dijimos, ven, ¿y por qué no creamos un curso bilingüe? Entonces, al menos un piloto. Dentro del semestre de Fall 2023, nosotros tuvimos enrolled like 9,940 estudiantes. So basically, every fall, we have the huge enrollment of first year students. And from those first year students, there are also first generation students. And in those almost 10,000 students, 25% somehow are Hispanic Latino students. So we are still with the idea of HSI institution because we have this number of enrollments. But besides that, how we're going to serve those students within this cohort, this semester, in linguistic terms. That is the area I can talk about, basically. Estoy especializado en lingüística. Entonces, en estos cursos, en slide 6, leí un poco más, me eduqué, porque something that is important here is that we don't know everything, and wondering is the most important part in this. When you are learning about HSI, when you are learning how to serve your students in the ways that you can. So from my background and my experiences, I can serve in linguistic ways. So this was the starting point of let's propose bilingual courses in GenEd, basically bilingual UNIV 101. Según García, yet we cannot deny that Spanish is an important language for many of the students who attend HSIs. Spanish makes folks feel like they belong on campus, including students, faculty, and staff. Within the servigness framework, we call this validation. To honor the linguistic abilities of the people in HSI is an important form of validation, and HSI should make this a part of their servingess efforts. Spanish is also an essential way to serve families in HSI. En esta citación de la doctora García, claro, llegamos a la pregunta de ¿por qué no tenemos clases en español en diferentes, no clases en español, me explico. Why we don't have classes, undergraduate classes offered in different languages, according to the people we serve. We're talking about, in this case, is Hispanic Latinx students, assuming that they speak Spanish, so we should be able to offer classes taught in Spanish or both languages, English and Spanish, on the combination that are depending on the student. I know and I understand, of course, that it's a logistic issue because there are lots of people and we don't have the capacity for that. So we have to build capacity first. ¿Cómo vamos a crear capacidad si no hemos analizado qué tenemos? En el slide 7, empezamos con la idea. Bueno, let's do a pilot. Let's try it. In our unit, in our UNIV core faculty members, we do believe in try it. In attempts, it's like you don't know everything, and by trying, you know if you are able or not. Entonces, aquí empezamos a probar. Me aprobaron, me apoyaron mis supervisores con el desarrollo del curso bilingüe, que nos colaboró la oficina de UCAT con la doctora Seiter, que es una bilingual instructional designer, y el director of the UNIV 101, Tom Murray, en el cual nos autorizaron este curso. La parte importante en esto es que this is not a new course, it's the same course. So there is no an extra step to make it pass through register office because it's the same course. The only thing that is changing is the modality of the language. In this case, it is not a Spanish UNIV 101. No, it's a bilingual UNIV 101 because our class is about content. The content of the class is delivered in both languages, Spanish, English. We are not teaching grammar. We are not teaching language skills. We are using Spanish and English in code switching, in translanguaging during the sessions. And the students, they have the option to complete the assignments either in Spanish, English, Spanglish. So we are achieving the goals of the class regardless of the language. And this was the strongest point of this initiative. We are doing the same, but with other language, with other combination of languages, in this case, Spanish and English. En la slide 8, nos dimos cuenta que durante nuestro piloto, que it is not just speak any language you want or you feel like within the classroom, but also how you can help the students to improve their language skills. So this was like a challenge because this was extra labor, adding or offering office hours. Not office hours, but writing hours, bilingual writing hours, because although you can be bilingual, it doesn't mean that you are biliterate. So the students should be able to learn a new code and transfer their skills they have in English to Spanish. So in this one, that was like a kind of challenge. It was solved in a quickly manner during the first 3 weeks of the pilot. because the students, they were asking, I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm not feeling comfortable with the use of the Spanish in the written mode, because they can be the bilingual students. The bilingual students can be either or both productive bilinguals, receptive bilinguals. And they can understand, they can speak it, but maybe they are not able to read it, or they are not able to write it down, which is a limitation that we try to solve during this semester. Also, it's a first year class, 1 credit class. We cannot make miracles, pero podemos apoyarlos, encourage them to keep going and working with their bilingual skills. Entonces, esta iniciativa tuvo la ventaja, y tiene la ventaja, actually, it has the advantage of receiving institutional support, not only for our dean in the honors college, but also for our executive director in the general education office, the office of Hispanic serving institutions, and also the Adalberto and Ana Guerrero Student Center. These were the key parts of my project what is the name of this? As a HSI ambassador of the University of Arizona during last year, as a faculty in residence for the Guerrero Center, and as an assistant professor of practice for these 2 units. So the institutional support was there. It was a matter of, let's try what is going on. We discovered for this, in the next one, we discovered that, okay, maybe, and probably, and actually I was sure about this, I didn't discover bilingualism on campus. Bilingualism happens everywhere in the world, and in campus happens not only in Spanish-English combination, English Navajo, Spanish Portuguese, etc. So there are lots of combination, and the one that I could focus because of my expertise and because also my limitations, I'm just one person, was focusing on bilingual initiative symposium within HSI context, Spanish-English. So I was wondering, maybe I'm not the only one who's thinking about this. And surely there is people on campus, from faculty, staff, and students, that they are working on bilingual projects. If I was working in UNIV 101, bilingual mode, what about the other classes? So by inquiring within a bilingual initiative symposium, the inaugural one, we discovered many things. And those many things are as follows. En la siguiente, van a ver el programa, pero eso del programa, luego comparto el link dentro del chat. En la siguiente, ahora sí, nos dimos cuenta dentro del simposio que hay bastantes unidades con proyectos bilingües español-inglés. Bastantes, al decir que hay departamentos, unidades, institutos, proyectos que incluyen español como lengua de uso y también como propósito de desarrollo profesional para los estudiantes. Entonces, existen proyectos en campus, pero no están conectados. That was the thing. They weren't connected. The bilingual projects on campus were happening everywhere, somewhere. Okay, not everywhere, but everywhere, as I could explore, but they weren't connected at all. So by using the bilingual initiative symposium as a bridge, as center point to meet each other and to know how to collaborate, it was the most wonderful experience we had last sprint. So this happened this year, 2024, in which we discovered that people is interested in working in linguistic servigness towards HSI. These units, they have wonderful projects that you will find in the previous link, that is the program, and also in the HSI, UFA HSI webpage. These projects are complementary. If you notice, from the part of recruitment, from the part of educating families with the project Outreach Familia, with the, what is the name of this? With the initiatives within the UCAT, the Honors College, the public health, that they have initiatives bilingual that are serving not only for the students, but also for the community. So this is a cycle. We are creating, developing, and proposing bilingual projects that not only are serving the students, are serving faculty, staff, and the community we belong to, the Borderlands community, basically. So, in the next one, teníamos entonces que dentro de estas iniciativas aparece UNIV 101. La bilingüe apenas aparece al final, because the bilingual was pilot in 2023. And we didn't have data from that one specifically. However, as a UNIV program, we have something more, something super important, that we were recognized within the university campus-wide initiatives as within the annual retention report, giving the report like 2 percentage points of retention. So our program, UNIV 101, that is serving the whole community of freshmen, of first-year students, and also the first-generation students that start for the first-year university, we are helping the retention. And considering only the English part, that is the standard version, we don't have the data for the bilingual one because the bilingual is currently happening. The real was the pilot, of course, but the fruit of the pilot ones. Entonces, al ver que UNIV está funcionando como estrategia de retención dentro de la Universidad de Arizona, tener o clases UNIV bilingües también podría beneficiar a los estudiantes hispanos latinos cuya lengua materna sea español, inglés o ambas. Esto podría mejorar también el retention rate. ¿Qué es lo que hicimos para nuestras clases? Oficializamos los UNIV 101 bilingual. So we offer for the first time the official version, not the pilot, but the official version this semester. We were expecting 10 sections, but because of logistics in terms of registration, advising, and some other, what is the name of this? Administrative issues, we only could offer 5 sections. However, it doesn't mean that there are no more students that are interested. It was a logistic issue here. And what we have for the future is that for next semester, we're going to offer for the first time the UNIV 301 bilingual, the English-Spanish, and we're working also in the honors version. So we are like expanding this project to other sections within our program, and also inviting as well other colleges, other courses to offer bilingual courses. How is that like an opportunity? We are serving the students by acknowledging, but validating their linguistic skills. ¿Qué podemos ver como un reto? Realmente un reto que tenemos aquí es la capacidad. We have to build capacity. Let's start with this code that I have from a student from last year, y que fue uno de los más bonitos que he recibido sobre la clase bilingüe. So, alumno de semestre, lo que más me gustó de la clase fue la manera en la que, sin importar el lenguaje en el que hablara, se me entendía y se me contestaba. Al tener una clase bilingüe, conocí personas que, al igual que yo, hablan español. Incluso para muchos, esta también era su primera lengua. Aquí tenemos una estudiante que encuentra comunidad. This student is finding community within campus, being a first-year student, and we don't know if it is a first-generation student. So, having connections from the first semester is important to the retention purposes of the university, and also for building community, building capacity. También tenemos otros estudiantes que mencionan, me gustó cómo el curso fue en español, me ayudó a ajustarme mejor a la universidad porque me sentí más conectada a otra gente, como yo. I like that since the course was in Spanish, I was able to better adjust to the university because I felt like I was connected with others like me. Although the student said that it was in Spanish, the class was directly bilingual, Spanish-English, 50-50 somehow, not only in the terms of the materials, but also in the delivery. But the student was surprised to have a bilingual class, in which their bilingual identity, bicultural identity was acknowledged. So, en la siguiente, tenemos cómo poder hacer que esto sea sostenible y que esto sea, that this project, this UNIV 101, is not only a thing of 1 year or one just wonderful idea that is going to end next semester. What we want is to make it sustainable. That's why within some KPIs, we were thinking how we can make this bigger and impactful, how we can support the students not only students, but also faculty members across campus to enhance or to, to use their bilingual skills as an asset for their professional and academic lives. So by proposing an HSI faculty project that was awarded last semester, fortunately was a great news last summer, we proposed a project called Advocating for Bilingual and Cultural Responsive Higher Education Project, ABC Higher Ed, in which tanto el doctor Austin como la doctora Seiter y mi persona estamos trabajando en desarrollar capacidad para los cursos bilingües. En la siguiente, ¿qué es lo que queremos? ¿A qué nos referimos con crear capacidad? We know that we have limitations, not only in the part of understanding that being bilingual doesn't mean that you can teach bilingual students, because we need to be trained in terms of bilingualism, biliteracy, translanguaging, and additional language training. And not all of our faculty who is bilingual, they know how to work with this. So we are proposing a series of webinar or professional development opportunities within, I would say, I think the next semester is going to be available, in which all bilingual instructors, professors, graduate students, they can inform themselves, educate themselves in terms of how we can teach better, how we can support better our students, acknowledging the bilingualism, acknowledging their Spanish variety from the borderlands. That is different from the Spanish from Colombia that I speak and from the Spanish from Spain that somebody else speaks. So we are acknowledging the Spanish they're using, and we are supporting them in that way. Also, helping develop bilingual content. The content already exists in English, and it's not a matter of translate everything, but at least some of the assignments, some of the materials, so the students have access to both English and Spanish material, so they are literate in both languages. Also, the development of open educational resources and bilingual writing space. As I mentioned within the pilot, we thought about, okay, how we can support better the students in short time. Let's create writing hours, but we have to make this sustainable. If we want the students to be supported, not only within the classroom, but also outside the classroom in academic terms, we should be able to teach them in an extra space, like a writing program, the writing in Spanish, the writing in bilingual mode. Also, we propose to keep working and keep proposing the annual bilingual initiative symposium, because every year a faculty member, a staff member, a graduate student or undergraduate student is working in bilingual projects that may be beneficial for the HSI community. So in those terms, having a space to share and to receive feedback from experienced colleagues, career members, students, graduate students, is an opportunity to create community. Estamos creando comunidad not only within UNIV 101, that is the seed of this project, but also within the University of Arizona community, with the potential expansion to other HSIs within the Arizona and beyond. Let's see what happens. Next. Construir capacidad no es fácil. So it's like you have to inquiry everywhere on campus to know what is going on, because we lack of connections. And I have the fortune to found people and people units, centers, institutes, offices, projects, which are interested in these kind of projects like bilingualism, biculturalism, biliteracy, and higher education. So this team of supporters, these collaborators, are part of the project HSI. And bilingual, advocating for bilingual and cultural responsibility in higher education. Why? Because, as I had mentioned in other instances, this project is not a one-person project. It's not a 3 KPIs project. This is a big project, and it's a project for the university, for the students to the university to the community. We are serving the community, the students, the faculty members, the staff members, in linguistic terms. And this is something that cannot be done by one person. It should be done with all the community members, regardless of you speak Spanish or not, because we are a Spanish serving institution. At least we should be able to acknowledge that we should serve as well in linguistic terms. Linguistic serving is matter because we're validating our community linguistic skills. So, in the next one, you have the, what is this? Se me olvida el nombre en español, el QR code. Ok, el QR code para el newsletter. Nosotros tenemos un newsletter, estamos desarrollando dentro del ABC Higher Ed Project, en el cual vamos a compartir updates del proyecto, oportunidades bilingües dentro del campus and beyond. Porque la falta de conexión hace que esto sea necesario, que podamos conectar de alguna u otra manera y compartir recursos. So we can support each other by knowing that there are projects, events, conferences in which we can participate and learn from. So you have this, if you can scan it, go ahead. I will put the link within the chat of the webinar, just in case. And I think that's all. I know that I speak fast. Y hablo rápido en ambas lenguas, so my apologies for that. And all your questions, preguntas, sugerencias, concerns are welcome. So thank you so much.
All of a sudden, se me olvidó how to stop screen sharing. So thank you, Jonathan. That was super informative. As someone who is one of the UNIV bilingual instructors, it has been really amazing to be part of, some of the instructors and just seeing the growth of this program. So as Jonathan said, we're going to move into our Q&A section. So I do think I saw maybe some questions possibly, but start percolating a little bit. We have some questions for Jonathan as well. And again, you can use the chat function or the Q&A. So Jonathan, quick question for you, you talked a little bit about it, but just, personally, as someone who has been at the U of A for a few years and as someone who has been part of, bringing the UNIV 101 bilingual courses to fruition, how do you, and you shared a little bit about what students were saying, but how do you feel, this really connecting with students in terms of like their cultures or the languages that they may speak at home or with families?
So the thing here is that I feel emotional whenever I read the reflections or the comments they made about the class, because they know that they are anonymous comments, and I told them, let me know how do you feel in the class, because although we have an idea of this is going to be beneficial for the students, we never know if we don't ask them. This is created from the students for the students. Entonces, al estudiante decirme, profe, in high school, I could speak Spanish, Spanglish with my peers, colleagues, and my first year at the university, when we didn't have UNIV 101 bilingual, this is like, I feel alone. I didn't have anybody who looks like me, who speaks like me, there is no representation. So having the opportunity to intentionally enroll students within bilingual classes to build community, to create community, is important for not only the retention purposes, but also for the sense of belonging. The students, they need to belong here, not just because they need a graduate degree. Of course, they need a graduate degree, but also because they need to create community to serve their own communities as well. It's not that coming to university and forget their communities. It's coming to university and serve back to the communities they belong to, in their families,
Yeah, and thinking about the instructors, right? So you have a number of instructors who teach these bilingual courses. And so have you gotten any feedback from the instructors about, their own experience teaching or how they feel about teaching these classes that are bilingual?
Esta es una muy buena pregunta. Y basically this couple of weeks, we have been doing some observations within our classes for the sake of creating this community of practice that we're receiving, giving feedback to improve our classes practices in bilingual mode. What I have discovered is that you, my instructors of UNIV 101 bilingual, feel more connected with the community you are teaching to, because somehow you see yourself represented in them. It's like, look, what if I had this class at the beginning of my career as an undergraduate? I wouldn't feel feeling that alone because I know somebody who looks like me, who speaks like me. So this is opportunity to make connection with the students that you didn't have the opportunity, but they have the opportunity right now. And you know that what is the importance of, yes, here we're validating your experiences because you matter, because you belong here. So I know that several of my instructors, they are super happy with this and they say, this is magical because they have teach the standard version and the bilingual version. They say, I feel more connected with the bilingual version. And of course, you share not only the language, but also the culture. So it's like you are representing your culture, your language in front of your students.
Yeah. And like I said, I know I'm biased. I'm one of the
Of
instructors,
course.
pero sí es muy bonito poder compartir, right? Like our culture. And sometimes in my class, right, students will answer in Spanish or English, or it's the mix because they'll say like, oh, I forgot how to say, QR code. And so I have to say it in a different language. So it's exciting to see. So we did get another question in the Q&A. So this reads from Andrea. Thank you for your presentation and such an important project. I'm wondering if you've encountered any pushback related to the state of Arizona policies around ESL education at the K-12 levels. For example, the state superintendent of education continues to push for the closure of bilingual programs and the promotion of English immersion for learners. Do you think these sentiments will influence efforts in higher education?
Es una muy buena pregunta. That's a wonderful question. I know. Here is the thing. Languages belong to the speakers. Regardless of the policy you have, the bilingual students are going to be bilingual students regardless of the Department of Education said this. And I'm sorry, I'm a person, I have the freedom to speak the language I feel like. That we cannot offer dual enrollment classes in bilingual classes, bilingual programs within the state of Arizona for K-12 is a matter of policy, and that change depending on the government of the moment. And because, there are data that affirms research data that says bilingual students are outstanding in these areas and there is no confusion whenever you have two languages. So there is a fallacy that is within the policy. That's why we don't have before university studies. I think that K-12, up to K-12, we don't have these bilingual programs just because they are manipulating the information. Really, the students who are bilingual, they have that have more capacities and they are more likely to succeed in whatever they're doing as their peers that are monolingual. The advantage that we have in higher education is that we don't need the permission to offer the bilingual courses because we are independent from the K-12 policies. The only limitation that we have that is the pushback from the parents, let's say, is that if they have heard from their high schools, middle schools, elementary school that you shouldn't be speaking Spanish, of course, they're biased right now. So they are thinking that, speaking two languages, maybe it's going to confuse the students, but it's totally false. It doesn't happen. And it's a matter of educating the parents as well. Okay, and help them and learn the specific data that they should know instead of just manipulated data.
Yeah, and that was I agree, a great question, just given the state that we live in and historically what we have seen around bilingual education. So thank you, Andrea. We got another question. It says, muchas gracias, Jonathan. How do you outreach to inform potential students about the bilingual program with UNIV?
That's a wonderful question, and it's a logistic question we are solving because every semester we have whenever we are receiving the new students, because these UNIV classes are for first year students, we have like a kind of pre-enrollment form during summer, but it passed through their advisors. So some of the advisors, they don't know that we have bilingual offerings. So somehow this information doesn't reach the students. What we need for the future, this is a challenge, it's an opportunity and a challenge at the same time, is to reach or to train or explain our program, our purpose within the HSI framework. We are offering bilingual versions of the classes, at least so far, UNIV 101. For the future, maybe more of other colleges, other undergraduate programs, so that they can offer the bilingual student if they want to take it or not. So giving them the information in a promptly manner, as well as the opportunity to say yes or not, is important for us. So we ask them to self-enroll. pre-enroll actually. So they can be enrolled in the class they want to be. And actually, we can see the difference between the classes. And because I have talked about this with my supervisors and my faculty team, bilingual faculty team leads, that the students that are, the attitude of the students that are enrolled in the bilingual classes is super different from the ones that are enrolled in the standard ones. The standard ones were selected by their advisor. They didn't have the option of make a decision about the class they enroll. But the bilingual ones, they have the option, the privilege of saying, I want this class because it's bilingual. So they are intentional in enrolling that class. And you can see within the class dynamics that they are feeling that they belong there.
Muchas gracias por sus preguntas. Thank you, everyone. So as always, we have one major guiding question that we ask all of our presenters who come and present in our Centering Servingness webinar series. So Jonathan, would you be able to let us know what next steps do you think are needed to build institutional capacity around HSI Servingness?
Es una muy buena pregunta, the next steps. Y la estuve pensando bastante. Y es básicamente connections, networking. Solos no podemos llegar lejos. No podemos completarlo. No podemos hacer, we cannot make this one bilingual class project or one HSI project, something that is just from 1 year or for the duration of the grant. We have to build the capacity by connecting with other colleges, other colleagues, other community members to make this sustainable. Building capacity means we are going to work together for the sake of our students, community, and linguistic serving as itself. And it's something that I have learned along the years with the University of Arizona. I have been here since 2017. And I do know that maybe there is a disconnection between colleges, but it's something that can be solved. And linguistic service is a great way to know we exist and we can collaborate. So that's the next steps, connecting with each other and make it this possible, because it's not impossible until you try it.
Absolutely. So muchísimas gracias, Jonathan. If I can have everyone just help me in thanking our wonderful presenter today. You really showed us the different ways that we can engage with our students, right? Especially through bilingual education and ways that the community partners might even think about engaging with the student, staff, or faculty at their institution. So again, muchísimas gracias, Jonathan, for all the work that you do and for all the work that you will continue to do. Just so that everyone knows, our next webinar session is scheduled for November 21st at 1 p.m. Arizona time. It will be our last webinar for this year, 2024. We'll pick back up in 2025 after the holiday and winter closures. We will be speaking with folks from Estrella Mountain Community College, which is a community college located in the Phoenix metro area, and they will be presenting on HSIs and the STEM workforce development. So again, thank you everyone for taking time out of your busy day to join us, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Have a great day, everyone.